Hey, what's going on, team? It's Ricky with TechBot Solutions. Hope that you guys are all having an amazing Friday the 13th, right? So there's just some pretty crazy news. I'm going to go ahead and recap my overall day. I did end up having a red day, so let me go ahead and share my screen just so you guys can see exactly what it is that I have going on here. Here we go. So I'm using the TD Ameritrade Thinkorswim platform. For all those that are unfamiliar with the platform that I use, it's the one that I use. It's available within Northern America. If you're outside of Northern America, please do not comment what platform would I recommend for you. Google search it, YouTube search it, and figure that out yourself. The best way to do that, I think, is to find out what it is that you want a brokerage to fulfill for you, right? Set criteria, and then go ahead and look for it. We just get so many comments all the time, and I want to make sure that you guys get guided in the right direction, but not based off someone else's irrelevant opinion. So all together on the day, as you guys can see, I ended up closing the day at $799.13 of loss. That was a total with 18 orders. Those are not 18 day trades, those are 18 orders. One of the things that I want you guys to pay attention to is that when it comes down to my losses, which was on DWT and then on UGAZ, took a loss of $667. That was actually all caught live within the Learn Plan Profit live trading session. I made a bad trade, I had to manage my risk, and I cut losses. For all those that are also not aware, I personally trade with $100,000. So I tried to manage, and this is something that I'll talk about in just a little bit, but I tried to manage every single one of my trades. I tried to. It doesn't work out all the time, but I tried to manage my risk at about 0.5% every single time that I trade. That's kind of like my max loss when I'm fully invested. That's what I've been trying to work on and getting better on, is as I'm continuing to scale as a day trader with $100,000, not only do I want to have my green days and my trades run right when they're green, but I also want to make sure that I keep my losses small or smaller when it comes down to the percentage loss. And I wanted to talk a little bit about that. On DWT, I traded that a couple of times. And I just dug myself in a hole of where I took two really bad trades. Not really bad, it's still less than a 1% loss. And then Diaz, I took a $507 gain on that, and then I ended up selling too early. But one of the things that I wanted to talk about and highlight, first of all, there's a lot of news right now. I don't know if you guys have been paying attention to it. I've been kind of just going back and forth. I just think it's kind of crazy. And again, this is just my opinion. I don't like talking about politics by any means. There's no question that when Trump tweets something, or when Trump just shares certain information or shares his opinion, it has an influence, right, on the market. And I just think it's kind of like sad when you see people like GOP lawmaker, double dog dares. And I wouldn't say that like this within itself. They're just talking about impeachment and the Democrats choosing to, pursuing Trump when it comes down to impeachment. I think this has been brought up before. But now that supposedly Trump, like this one's a little bit more serious, he's a little bit more upset. Feel free to Google search it, feel free to YouTube search it. I have not seen it have or be a reason. So I've been looking at /NQ. Overall, the market is down today based off of where it closed, but I wouldn't say that that has to do anything with the news of him potentially being impeached or anything like that. It is showing signs of a descending pattern on the day. And if you go a little bit more on the larger charts, you can see that it's still an overall uptrend. It is overbought and overextended. So if it does begin to pull back, I wouldn't even say it's because of that news. But I quickly wanted to talk about that is because there's so much news that is being shared that is influencing the market. And I don't know if you guys experienced it today. I know that we all have different focuses. I have a huge focus on ETFs and ETNs, and I pay a lot of attention to a lot of commodities and overall futures that correlate on over to the overall market. And I just felt like the market today, I don't know if it's because it's Friday the 13th, right? But I just felt like the market today was very, very slow. There was a lot of activity, right, as the market, before the market opened, and market opens at 6:30 a.m. Pacific Standard Time here in Arizona. And then as soon as, it was all showing signs of an uptrend, and as soon as the market opened, it begins to change its direction. With, /GC, almost a very similar pattern where it begins to show signs of an uptrend, and then altogether it just begins to sell off. And this one was the most active one. Natural gas has just been absolutely ripping it today. I'm really happy that I was able to make a profit on my DS trade, as you guys can see right here. So I got in and got out pretty lucky on this one. But I just feel like the market was so overall so slow today. And when I saw that I was down I was originally down the $600. I took a couple more trades. I ended up being down like 1.4K, brought myself back down to about an $800 loss. I just began to ask myself, like, there's these big plays. I saw natural gas like aggressively pushing up. I saw that. I saw the market overall selling off. And then I just really saw crude oil begin to consolidate and identify no clear direction. And the market was kind of choppy, in my opinion. And with all this news being thrown around, it just really like rubbed me the wrong way, where like I wasn't super pumped or super motivated to continue to trade anymore. I didn't see any market just closed. I didn't see any great opportunity to present itself. And one of the things I wanted to talk about, two things today. Anytime that you see any news, right? Especially I have a focus on, crude oil and the overall market itself. So whatever it is that I'm trading, usually my focus crude oil or /NQ. News does have an effect, especially with relevant news of what's being talked about right now, does have an effect on where my focus is right now. So because of that, there could either bring a lot of volatility or a lot of inconsistencies. And I've talked about this before, where if whatever it is that you are trading, if you feel like news is having a negative impact on whatever it is that you are trading, not just with driving the price up or down, that's besides the point, but I'm talking about the being able to identify a true direction of something uptrending, of something downtrending, of just being able to have an understanding of what's going up and what's going down. If it comes to that point, then I think it's best, and it's one of the reminders that I shared with the Learn Plan Profit group this morning, is like, do not feel bad to take like the day off, right? If the market is not playing in your favor, if it's not meeting your criteria, there's no reason to overcomplicate it and force a trade and put yourself in a bad situation that you will end up regretting. That's the reason, like, yeah, it sucks. Trust me, like I don't like ending the week on a red note, but altogether, I can't control how the market is performing. I can just control my actions. And I know that this upcoming week, or even, we have nothing but time to continue to focus on growing our accounts. But it's when the opportunity presents itself that it would then make the most sense. I just felt, because of all the news that was being shared and the inconsistency and the unclear direction of where my focus was today, I just wasn't, working really well with the market. So because of that, I just decided to call it a day. I took the loss. There's a couple other trades where when I began to see natural gas continue to make higher highs, that I felt like I could have broken even or made a little bit of money. But again, that's besides the point. I would have not felt comfortable with that trade. There's no, natural gas was so overbought that it made sense why it could pull back. So the direction was kind of like, yeah, it was uptrending, but it was so overbought that it made sense on why it could pull back. So that was my first thing of like, when you begin to identify inconsistencies within the market, don't be afraid to call it an early day. One of the last things that I want to talk about is, regardless, I did have a red day, and red days, like we've said before, are 100% inevitable, right, in this market. One of the things that I personally think I did well, and correct me if you think I'm wrong, but I tried to manage my risk at 0.5% of whatever it is that I'm trading with. If it moves, or if it goes beyond that point, then I didn't do my part in getting in at a good price point, so I'll cut my losses there. Again, I'm not under the PDT rule. I can trade as many times as I want, but altogether, I want to make sure that empowers me to be even that much more selective with the trades that I took. I wasn't working well with the market today. I took a couple losses, but every single time that I did take a loss, I felt like I did my part as a day trader to manage my risk, which I think is a huge area of opportunity. I'm not here to tell you that you should manage your risk at 0.5%, but that's the number and the percentage that I came up with. So I'm here just to simply remind you that it's the very simple things that a lot of people overlook in this market. And if you can do yourself a favor and come up with a number or a percentage, right, of what it is and where it is that you want to set your max percentage loss. For some of you, it might be less than 0.5%. For some of you, it might be more. Depends on how conservative or aggressive it is that you are. There's no right or wrong. It really comes down to whatever works well for you, and the best way to do that is just to test it and to see what actually works. So just wanted to share my overall experience with you guys this Friday. Yesterday was not the most successful day. If you're part of the Learn Plan Profit group, you would have seen it. It was about $175 profit, and then the day before that was about $1,600. $1,600 profit. So we've been doing okay. Didn't end it on a strong note, but altogether, we're going to get an early start to the weekend. Hope you guys have an amazing weekend. For all those that maybe have questions about getting started or joining our free Facebook group. We run the largest one out there. It's the first link below. And feel free to send me a text message. My number's down below if you guys have any questions about getting started in the stock market. If you think that I can be of assistance, then shoot me a text. If you don't, and you at least enjoyed this video, then we'd appreciate the thumbs up. Altogether, I wish you guys an amazing weekend. I hope that you guys all ended the week on a green note. And if not, just a reminder that, again, we have nothing but opportunities and time for the up and coming weeks to come. So wish you guys an amazing rest of your day. Like always, continue working hard, continue following dreams, let your passion be what drives your success. Like always, let's make sure that we end the year on a green note. Take it.